Hello and welcome everyone to a short video. Short is not really the word I'd use, but it's a discussion about our demo version impressions. And we are here today with Palamutes. If you want to introduce yourself real quick.
Hi, I'm Palamutes, at Palamutes on Twitter for now, probably on Blue Sky at some point, or where you can see me right now at I'm on a Sacred, working on this, and also big German Monster Hunter fan. You'll probably see me around.
Thanks for joining today. We are going to talk about our general impressions of the demo. We're going into detail about what we found was good, the good, the bad, and the ugly, basically, of the demo. So, yeah, I'd really like to talk about, first off, we're going to start with general impressions. So, yeah, what are your general impressions of the demo?
General impressions of the demo, I really liked it. I kinda got burned out faster than I thought I would. I really started Monster Hunter with the Rise demo that I played, I think, like, way more. Like, that of course was like unlimited, I could play it whenever I wanted. But there was a point where I tried all of the weapons that I wanted to, and fought all the monsters, and then I felt like I had seen enough, or I didn't want to overindulge with it. And I didn't expect that. I still played more, of course, after that. But yeah, it's great. It's exactly what I thought it would be. It's what I hoped it would be, and it made me really look forward to the changes that they made into the game in general. Maybe a bit disappointed there was one or two surprise monsters in that, just those three.
Yeah, that's my impression too. I really enjoyed it. I played, I think, around 20 hours in the demo, and it started getting repetitive at one point, but still to a point where I basically was switching weapons all the time, trying everything out. I wanted to hunt Rey Dau with each weapon, and I think I achieved it. And yeah, it's been a really good, solid demo that is showing off the first area of the game. Obviously not the build that is going to be the final game, but still a really solid entry into Monster Hunter Wilds, and general impressions also of all of the combat we got out of this. So all of the combat changes were really solid in there, and they definitely did show off everything, you know?
Yeah. You played on PlayStation as well, or?
Yes, I played on PlayStation. I played from the first early access demo to the end, basically.
That's nice. Yeah, so we probably won't be talking about performance in this a lot. We've seen all the memes, we've seen all the complaints, we've seen this is an early build. I don't think we will get into this a lot. This is a demo, we shouldn't judge the final product based on that. But I had an idea for the funniest thing they could ever do. And I checked with people who know more about this. It's probably possible for them to force you to load the origami low polygon monsters. So this could be the funniest event quest ever. You just go in and just all the monsters look like that.
That would be super funny. That would be super funny. I really would enjoy that. It would kind of poking fun at themselves, which I kind of enjoy, you know.
Yeah. And then use this and then give you the origami Switchaxe from Rise as a event reward.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a solid entry into what we are going to expect with Monster Hunter Wilds. So for me, I definitely don't want another demo happening at all. I want them to continue working on it and then releasing in 4 months. But do you want another demo happen in this, or do you think it's enough at this point?
Yeah, I need it. They've taken it away from me and I want it back. No, I think we will get another demo, probably around the Game Awards. And what I would want for that is for that to just technically run better. So just to show, so that they can show everyone like we are working on this, like don't freak out. And if they can use it to do that would be incredible. And then maybe like I don't know, put in Raffian. I miss Raffian in the demo.
I definitely think we could get the technical stuff out of the way real quick, because there's still things I would love to say about PS5. The technical stuff in the PS5 was okay, but performance mode looks really ugly, and I think they definitely need to change it. Honestly, when it was hitting 60 FPS on PS5, it just looks ugly. And I played 30 for the remainder of the entire thing. They definitely need to optimize it a little bit more, even on the PS5.
Yeah, but they will. They will.
Yeah, they will. There's also a few settings that I was missing. Two settings that I actually want is to turn off the wave effect on the health bar, because that was distracting people. It wasn't distracting me, but it is definitely distracting people. And to remove the scout flies.
Yeah, scout flies. Scout flies as an optional toggle would be great. I personally kind of like the health thing. It didn't bother me that much, and then like especially with Rey Dau, it gives you like this, like it kind of makes the attacks even more dangerous, especially when you're still blocking and you're like, I'm blocking, but the health thing is going crazy. Am I going to survive this? Oh, let's see. I kind of like that. And then, like, you know what is safe, what isn't safe after a while. But I did kind of enjoy it. But having that as an optional thing, but is, of course, more options is always better.
Yeah, definitely. I also liked it, kind of, but still, there's some people who it bothers, and just an optional toggle, you know, to turn it off would be appreciated. And yeah, definitely the scout flies. They don't need to be here, but if you want to have them, give us an optional toggle, because I definitely don't feel like they added anything to this experience at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, we can talk about this a little bit when we talk about the map design in general.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to get into the next topic real quick, which is the story of the game. And if you have thoughts about the story so far.
Like the thing that kind of blew me away the most is just how seamless everything is. Like in the beginning, like you create your character and then it like goes, like you walk out of the character creation and like out on the ship. That is just impressive. But it like works like that, and then you go into the Balahara thing and everything, and it was like quick to the point, like gave you all the relevant information, right, without taking too long. Like the reason we are here, and I will probably go more into detail on that. Like we've seen the scene where like there's an airship and they find Nata like in the desert. Like this is something we will probably see later. But yeah, like especially the beginning set piece was very impressive. What do you think?
I also share that sentiment. It is presented really well, which is a new thing for Monster Hunter in my opinion. It is very cinematic and also doesn't really take away from the hunting aspect a lot. Like obviously we haven't seen everything, but it seems like we'll get like this huge cinematic beginning, and then it kind of fizzles out a bit, and we'll have cinematic set pieces in between. But it doesn't really take away too much from what we are doing as hunters. And it will just be, from time to time, a few set pieces where we go after things. And it seamlessly transitions into gameplay, which is super nice. And I don't mind the story as much. I've seen people being bored by it, but obviously we don't have everything yet. And I like the characters a lot so far.
Yeah, and I think if we get like these bigger set pieces as the reason why we can't just seamlessly like multiplayer on story missions, I think that will be okay. Like in World, like there's you go in and you have to find brachydios and then watch the brachydios cutscene, and then you can start hunting. If like we will still have this be like kind of similar, but the things be way more involved. That we have some more gameplay in there, and it's not just a cutscene that we are just watching, but we can do something in between. I think then it will be fine, and especially if two people can start this like at the same time and then go to the same place and then both warp into the same mission, I think this will be fine. This is something like where I feel it will be worth it.
I definitely think so, and also the cutscenes are completely skippable because I did test out the Steam version on a laptop of mine, and I basically skipped all of the cutscenes. It's just, something you can skip. You still have to do the Chatacabra hunt, obviously, but you can skip all of outside of it, like, super quick.
But you can't skip. Can you skip the like riding on the sacred with the Balahara?
No, you can't skip that. It's a set piece, gameplay set piece. You cannot skip that. But outside of it, everything that looks like a cutscene, you can easily just skip.
My biggest kind of like question on the story is like we get the other hunter sacred, or like we borrow it, I guess. I wonder if we then, like, as the next story thing is that we go to Kufa village and then we get to pick out our own sacred, because there are, like, when you go to the village, there are sacreds with different markings. They're not really that different in color, but there are, like, some difference with them, and I wonder if there then is a point where we create our own sacred and can give it a name and all things like that.
I definitely think so. I also think there's going to be a lot more added to this. Like, this demo literally threw you into the map and you could literally not talk to anyone, really. Like, there's definitely some things that they definitely don't want to hide. You could also... What was the village called?
It's Kufa or Kufa, something like this.
Exactly. You could just walk there and talk to the people, but yeah, nothing major really. I definitely think they skipped some steps here and there. You probably can visit the village. Maybe they let you customize the sacred in the village or whatever. I don't know yet. But I think those villages that are just sitting straight in the middle of like the maps will be pretty important to the story.
It's Kunafa village. I went there, I looked around, I got the cheese because I wanted to see the cheese animations when cooking. But yeah, there will probably be more. Like there's the scene where there's a Doshagauma in the village, like these kinds of things. So there will be more things.
Definitely, and I also wonder if there will be certain quests that we get from these villagers that are just like villager requests or something. That would actually be relatively interesting. Like, getting certain story missions from villagers,
Yeah, and especially if they have like their own little storylines, like For You had.
Yeah, they've done that in the past. Like, it's usually just fetch quests in the past, but if it's like something like, oh, we need to go out there, or maybe... we need to get water and there's a whole group and you need to protect them from a monster or something,
There will be a lot more. But we've talked about the map already, what you can get there. What was your impressions of the plains?
The plains actually relatively small in my opinion. Although you have like distinct large areas. It definitely did feel a lot smaller than I was expecting, especially since your sacred is super quick. But I think the plains are probably one of my favorites so far. Just because I love the plenty. When it's everything green, it's just so sprawling with color. And then I love it when the thunderstorms come in and everything goes to shit. That's just... Visually, it's such an impact to you,
Yeah, and I remember like the first time the thunderstorm came in, I had like this literally oh shit moment, even though like I knew there's like nothing really dangerous, like you're not gonna get hit by lightning constantly. It's just not the game that Monster Hunter is. I don't think I got hit by lightning from the environment like once. But yeah, like the first moment when that happens is amazing. And then also when you're fighting like in the desert, I really like that because just like we never had like verticality like that really, like on on a map where you can just go up and down, but you still have like all your movement. It's not just the wall. That felt really, really new and fresh.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to highlight is that I definitely think the map is not the size that the final map will be. I definitely found something suspicious about these dunes. Like the large dune area, where basically the thing that blocks you off is a sandstorm happening like outside. And it definitely looks like you can walk everywhere. It doesn't seem like it's going to be another playable area. Like they've modeled a whole section of the dunes that you could go to, but for some reason they don't let you. And this might be like they give you a little bit and then it's going to expand and have new monsters or something.
Yeah, I was hoping for, but I don't really think so. Like it's the same thing kinda with the area when you like just coming from the main camp and you want to go to the like to the big mountain. There's also like you can't just go there from that way, and there's like also like stuff on the other side. There's just this little crevice that you just can't get over. Where I felt like okay, they put like enough stuff there to see like this is like still a living world. But I also was super surprised actually that we can get to that mountain, and that is where the Rey Dau nest is. I really enjoyed that, getting there and going like up there.
Yeah, it's actually super fun. Honestly, the Sacred makes everything just more fun on the map, honestly. Because in World, that is one aspect I actually kind of hated. Following a monster into the treetops or whatever, to the Rathian and Rathalos nest, was super grating. And the Sacred just invalidates this. Like, I hop on my Sacred, and I get something to drink real quick while the Sacred gets me there. It's actually really nice, you know.
Did you do the underwater stuff?
I did go through the underwater cave and tested it. It's so grating to me. It's like my dream is shattered.
Yeah, it's really just you go in there and then you can get stuff, but it's really just a ride. You go from A to B, but it was kind of to be expected.
Yeah, it's what we expected. They definitely don't want to have full underwater experience, obviously, and they won't make it. So I'm not too broken about it, but I enjoyed what we got. Honestly, the Windward Plains is one of my favorite desert maps in the series so far. I don't really enjoy many desert maps in the series, but this one is actually super well done.
And really well integrated with all the different regions that you still have. And I think having the Sacred definitely makes it feel smaller. And I spend a lot of time just like auto traveling to the next monster that I wanted to get. Just because like there's only limited time in the demo. And so being more on foot and exploring it more will definitely be something to do in the full game.
Oh yeah, I already saw, like, I did one run where I was basically just collecting bugs and stuff, and it's super well done. Also, the map just feels so full with life.
Yeah.
It's incredibly full with lots of monsters. That's why I also think they will expand, because if I look at the desert, and I feel like they're going to add Diablos and other desert monsters, the map might feel a little bit too full, in my opinion.
Yeah, there isn't really that much space for Diablos to have like a proper arena on that, I agree.
So yeah, I don't know if that just means we won't get a Diablos or returning monsters, but I definitely think if they add like at least 3 or 4 more desert returning monsters, we might have a problem with map size.
Yeah, they would just give us monoblos and they will be in the caves for reasons.
For reasons, yeah, that could be also. But yeah, super. It's a really good map that you want to sink your teeth in. Also, something that I want to highlight: Rey Dau's nest, or where he actually goes to sleep, is absolutely stunning.
Yeah, and it makes it feel dangerous because you just know he has like literal home field advantage.
Yeah, that it actually changes and makes his attacks AoE is actually really good. But yeah, visually stunning as usual. Like, the game is visually really, really stunning, and I enjoyed it a lot. So yeah, I think that was all we could say about the maps.
There's like maybe one small thing, like there's in the main camp where we can't really do much. There's one like next to the ship. There's a gate, and next to the gate are a bunch of weapons. Like there's a charge blade shield like hanging on the gate, and a lot of weapons like left and right to it. And I think that will be the way to go to the training area, because we've seen like a bigger training dummy in some of the weapon or like Hunter's Notes weapon guides things. I think this will be there.
That could be the case. Yeah, also we can talk a little bit about the camps while we're on the maps. I think the camps are fine. I don't see a problem with restocking in this game at all.
Yeah, I think like especially with how fast you can collect stuff just with the slinger, I think this will be less of an issue. Like you will probably go around and hunt. Like if you're just doing like grinding or doing like hunting for fun, I think you will go out and hunt like 2 monsters and then go back into camp and get stuff because you get like supplies on the way. And also, I was very happy that when you use the like auto healing best healing item, that it will take like your easy health potions that go away at the end of the quest first, and it prioritizes them.
Yeah, that's a good option. Also, you can only have 4 camps. The maps are pretty huge. You can only have I think a total of 4. You have to place them strategically, and there's a lot going on. At points I just forgot to restock at all, and was running into a Rey Dau and was getting pretty badly beaten because I forgot to restock. I don't think it's as much of a problem. The only thing that leads into this is one thing that I would like to quickly talk about is the quest system, because I generally feel like the regular quests are so unnecessary for this game.
I think like my read on this is there will be like quests will be important if they are like a specific like more story thing, or like a side quest, like with a side quest chain kind of thing, where it will be important, or you just go out and there's just no crematories on the map right now, but you want to hunt one, and so you start a quest so you can spawn one. I think the more monsters you have, the more relevant this might become.
Yeah, that's definitely, it's more of a convenience thing, I guess. But I find that they could have really doubled down on the you do quests like in the field at all times instead of getting certain side quests. But that's probably really inconvenient for players who just want to play the game.
Yeah, and like I feel there's like a bit of ludonarrative like dissonance between the idea of like we only hunt monsters when it's relevant, when they're bred to the ecosystem or to the village, and not like I will go out on a map and just kill everything for 5 hours until I come back. And so like still having quests as a way where they like, okay, here's the reason why you hunt this monster, and you have like quest tags and things like that. I think that still helps in that regard.
If they are side quests by villagers, that's actually okay. If they're just there to restock the monster or bring the monster onto the map, then it's a little bit weird. But I think that's basically the convenience is important there. So I think that's okay.
And I think it might be relevant for things like multi monster hunts that you can't just start normally like that. It's like Hunter Rathian and the Pink Rathian at the same time, so that wouldn't be really possible in the other system.
That is true. I think, well, we haven't seen any multi-monster hunts, so we don't know yet, but yeah.
Would be weird if those are just gone.
Also, will we get an arena back? That's a question they could answer.
Yeah, but I don't see why not.
Also, they didn't let us capture any of the monsters, which is kind of a dick move since they give us free shock traps and pitfall traps. They didn't let us trap the monster.
I fought like Chaos Slayer. I saw Chaos Slayer do Child Slayer, yes, do some of this. Like you can't just make paintball like sleep herb and stuff that you gather. Did you try that? Like I didn't, but I just saw that it's possible.
I have not seen it being possible, really. I don't know. I probably would have needed to check it out a little bit closer, but I didn't really care because I killed every monster anyway at that point. But yeah, it would have been nice to trap some monsters, really.
Yeah, I will. I'm gonna check to see if I can find a tweet and you can get to the next topic.
Yeah, definitely. The next is we want to talk a little bit about the monsters themselves. Let's talk about our favorite punching bag first. Chatacabra.
Good boy.
He is the most punchable monster, really. He falls, he trips over so easily, and it's a little bit sad, honestly. When you fight him first, I fought him first with Switchaxe with nothing really, with no training in the game and everything, and he just fell over completely all times. He's a little bit of a sad boy.
But it's fine. Like I think he's maybe the best starting monster in that I can remember. Just in like being easily accessible for a new player as a thing, and then also like the armor that we have is nice. He's really readable. Like it's kind of weird. He does this like one tongue move thing that doesn't do any damage. It just pushes you around, which is kind of weird. But yeah, I think he's nice. I just hope, and I will say this every time, that he will have a weapon for every weapon type, because we never had a starting monster with every weapon, and I want that. I want a new player to see, hey, I've beaten this monster, now I can make the weapon. And not be like, ooh, yeah, I can make armor, but I don't get any new weapons. That's kind of sad, as a first time experience.
That is kind of sad. Yeah, that is kind of sad. I think Chatacabra gives a first experience very well. I think he's a little bit too weak for new players to enjoy, but I'm not a new player, so I don't know. But yeah, he is a little bit weaker than Great Jagras in my opinion, which I don't know.
Him being smaller also makes him harder to hit in a way. Like Jagras is just huge and you can just hit him everywhere. Like Chatacabra is a bit more compact. But I also like what they did in the first mission, when they just give you this fight in multiple phases, where they teach you different things or try to teach you different things at different stages of the fight. That's something new that we hadn't seen really like that in Monster Hunter before, and that I think was a really nice idea.
Oh yeah, that intro cutscene is really well done, and it highlights like a lot of cool stuff you can do. It teaches you about the basics really well. And I think it's a super good intro for a Monster Hunter game.
Yeah.
Probably one of the better ones. I didn't like World's intro, and Rise doesn't really have a lot of intro, really. They kind of send you into battle immediately.
And you have to go on this one like intro mission with the arena dude with the Zenoga mask. And he like tells you, okay, like this is how you write a Palamute, and then you have to kill like 3 Jagras, but it's also like a lot of things at once in a weird way. Like I don't think that was also like really well done in that sense.
Yeah, well, it's a big monster as a first intro, and I think that's a good way to introduce players. It's probably better than just punching a bunch of smaller monsters and that's it, like they've done in the past. So I think it's definitely worth it.
Yeah, I think it's their best intro that they've done so far. And then also with the questionnaire that you can do before that, I didn't really do that. Like I didn't feel like I have time. But I also like that it was like really simple, like really predictable to get like what will you get. But I like that.
Oh yeah, and his design is also relatively good. I really enjoy his design.
Yeah, he's still kind of like the more I see him, the cuter he gets, and the more he fits into Monster Hunter. And yeah, he is. I the only wish I think like that he put stuff on his arms thing was a bit more pronounced. Like I never really noticed that making a difference. The way like that Great Jaguar is getting huge is a difference.
Well, the problem is with that is when he does it, I've definitely noticed him doing it one time, but I immediately knocked it off with my Switchaxe because he kept falling over. So it didn't really matter that much. But yeah, maybe there's going to be stronger versions. Obviously, it's a little bit weird how we got introduced because we got high rank materials, but I think those were low rank monsters.
Yeah, I think that's just a demo thing. Like the same with like quests that guarantee you a gem. Like I don't think those will like really happen.
Yeah, definitely. I think so too. Yeah, Chatacabra, super solid monster. I love it. Probably my least favorite of the bunch, just because he's the intro. You know, like he's very easy.
Yeah. Then we have, I guess, in chronological, we have the Alpha Doshagauma.
Oh yeah, our next big monster is Alpha Doshagauma. I really enjoyed him. I didn't enjoy the pack mechanics. The pack mechanics on paper sound incredibly good, but they are not implemented really well because you just throw in some down bombs. Maybe they are better in the main game when it launches, but you just throw in a down bomb and everyone just leaves and you hunt the monster. Like it's not as advertised, like where you have to lure the monster away and then you have to use traps to get the others away. It's not really that.
Yeah, I mean you can do that, but it's definitely harder. Like the big dunk bomb really like defeats the kind of the purpose of it. But I haven't really tried like fighting them all at once. Like I didn't feel like I was like really that wise with the kind of equipment that you have. But doing that later on, like when you like you're at the end of low rank and then you fight it again with that equipment, for example, I think that will be fun. To see if you can like fight 3 of them at once, because that is not something that we really had the opportunity to do before.
Yes, that's true. Then after we go into the pack, obviously not as great as a pack, but the monster itself I actually enjoyed more than I thought I would. The monster is super aggressive onto you.
He feels like Shula Azuros in a way. And I also I liked how the alpha and the normal one like felt different. They were not just one has a pack and one doesn't. I feel like they are a bit unique. Like I don't know if the normal Doshagauma even has like the enraged get all the wounds back, or if I just killed it too fast every time. But yeah, that seems like a thing that is like unique to them.
Yeah, I also want to quickly talk about how aggressive he like feels. Like honestly, I was struggling with some weapons really hard against him. He just chains attacks a lot. He is quicker than than his build would suggest.
Yeah, what got me the most are like the ground attacks. I feel like because we are not so it's just not something we're really used to. 2 monsters doing that.
Yeah, his big AoE ground attacks that he does. Yeah, those ones got me a lot as well. But I was struggling with some weapons because some weapons actually have animation commitment, so you have to. And Doshagauma just is on your ass all the time. Like seriously, all the time. He doesn't let up a lot.
But then also he overcommits and like falls over and like has a lot of character in that way.
Yeah, his fall over is really iconic, I think, where he does like just falls over a little bit and then he gets back up.
He especially with Lance, it really feels like a boxing match with him. Like he feels like an old boxer in a way.
Yeah, I definitely wanna quickly talk while we're on Doshagauma because it's pretty apparent with him is the wounding mechanic is actually super well done in my opinion. I really enjoyed that one. Like it feels so natural and just seeing their wounds appearing and breaking open and then you can use it. It's just so satisfying, honestly.
And I feel like the way that different focus strikes A work and B like sometimes like create resources for you or are like extremely important, like on Charge Blade, is, and then there's on other weapons with just, I feel like not as much, like on Sword and Shield it's just like you can do it, it's like more damage, but it's not integral so strongly. I think that is really interesting. Or the way that ranged weapons have like a harder time getting like a quick focus strike. I think that gives all of the weapons more character and how you create moves and how you interact with them. Or if you just use them as weak points to get like your damage buff and then you destroy them and you don't really focus strike that much. I think that will be interesting to learn and to get used to, and people having different styles with different weapons and how they use them.
Yeah, it's a very unique concept to Monster Hunter, and I feel like it adds a lot more than people gave it credit for at the beginning. Like, people were seriously scared of focus strikes, but I think playing the demo, I think most people's fears have been alleviated from it.
Yeah, and I think especially later monsters won't get like just new wounds all the time. Like I feel like on Rey Dau it takes work compared to Doshagauma and to Chatacabra, who wound really easily. And so I don't think like just spamming focus strikes all the time will be relevant. The kind of the best thing of it is that how it interacts with like short temporary weak points, like on Rey Dau after the big attack when he just has his like horns to the side. I think those are really cool, but they give you an opportunity to get there, but then you need to be really close to that really dangerous attack to do it. So that is a nice thing, and that is also repeatable, and it's not like tied to a wound. That's like the coolest thing for me.
Yeah, one thing I didn't really properly learn are the offset attacks, which I really need to get into once we hit the full game. I really didn't learn them pretty well, and I definitely need more time with them.
Yeah, I didn't really play that many weapons that go heavily into that, and also I'm really bad with counters as a like parries in that sense. So I didn't really engage with that much. But it looks really cool.
Yeah, it looks really cool, and Switchaxe is heavily into it, and I just didn't learn it at this point, so I don't know. I need to definitely get into it. But yeah, Doshagauma is absolutely great monster. I enjoyed it a lot, and a lot more than I thought I would. In the beginning, I thought it looked kind of bland as a monster.
But then it also has good looking armor. We saw the Longsword and the Hunting Horn were both very cool. So there's like nothing bad to say about the monster.
Yeah, the armors also look relatively sick, all of them. And we didn't even get a Rey Dau armor.
Yeah, that will be something else.
Definitely. I think if this game goes on like the demo, I'm pretty incentivized to hunt each monster and make each monster's armor just because I like the style.
Yeah. Gonna be interesting if we have to create a male and female version separately, or if they just if you like make it once and you have both. That would be interesting.
I hope they have both, but if materials are easy to come by, you might just be able to make them. The thing is, they both have the same stats and the same things, so I hope they make them both, because that's just fashion hunting at the end of the day then.
But yeah, then do you wanna do the worm or like the big lightning wyvern?
We're going for the worm first, because it's my second favorite monster from this demo. The worm is incredible. It's not as strong as I thought it would be, but it's such a good monster, honestly. I just favor Leviathans all the time. That's a problem, so...
Yeah, he was more difficult than I thought he'd be, but just because his way of movement is just so new. In a way, I don't really think I fought anything quite like him. I was getting hit with a lot of stuff that I didn't expect, especially from the tail. And so yeah, I still had problems with him and didn't fight him as much as I wanted to, probably, to really learn it. But yeah, he's really cool. Like probably the best mud monster.
Probably. There's not much competition, honestly. But in terms of Leviathans, it's definitely up there for me. I just love their whole build, honestly. For each Leviathan, they are just so good.
Yeah, they're all very different.
And yeah, his attacks are also very wide sweeping and relatively quick as well, which I didn't think. But did you get him to do one of his sand holes, like make one of his sand holes?
Yeah, and I think I've fallen in like once.
I've fallen in several times. If you don't call your sacred there, you're basically you're going to get hit no matter what. I definitely found that. Like you can get out by running, but every time I got out by running, right at the edge, it hit me. So it's a surefire hit.
I've like experimented with like once I learned how to do the slinger shot from focus mode. Like he became a lot easier, just with screamer pods and then getting them relatively easily from the small monsters that are like flying overhead. But yeah, he's cool.
I like him a lot. There's not much to say about it though. Yeah. The only problem I see is I actually want to see them in the desert like they were in the intro, with a lot of them. That's like the only thing that I want to see. But there's not much to talk about. You can screamer pod him out. I found that when he gets back into his cave, the attack he does when he goes up to the spiral thing above the rock formation, and it was a little bit too easy to knock him down from that.
Yes, but I've had it like the first time I wasn't like quite sure how to do it. I didn't put my weapon away, and he like really got me with it. So it's a good thing that he does it, and especially like in the beginning scene, like when you have the one who's on the pillar and then you pull it down. Like it's just so cool and just unlike anything we've seen before.
Yeah, it's still a little bit too easy to knock him down, but yeah. The monster is actually relatively cool, and I like him, but there's not so much to say about him. But yeah, let's...
Yeah, and then... Rey Dau. What?
Favorite Lightning Wyvern?
Like, also, he's great. I don't think we need to we need to discuss this. What I want to discuss is his tail swipe. Because he has a new tail swipe that the other, like, flying wyverns don't have. Like, they usually have the, like, Ruffalos turn around tail swipe, or like the Tigrex one that like also some root wyverns have, where it just goes left to right or to left. But he has like a new one where it comes from above, and then another one, and there were a few times where I like was just behind him on lands and I'm thinking like, this feels like I should get tail slammed, but I'm not, and then I get hit just because it's new.
Yeah, he has like I think 3 different tail swipes, so it's a pretty good monster. The thing I want to say about Rey Dau is it's got a really good learn set. Like it's super fun to learn his moveset. I really enjoy that. Once I got his moveset down, he became a little bit easier. Might even be too easy, but that's just because I hunted him like 15 times. At that point, every monster becomes easy, I think.
I actually haven't beaten him in the demo. I've tried a few times. I got really close with Lance like twice, and once I just like was like in the wrong settings or like fired the wrong pod at him, and then he got me on the last card. And once I had a disconnect from the server, and my character just like morphed into the ground and was gone, and I had to restart everything. It was super funny. And then once on Gunlance, where it's just in the nest, and I was like, I get killed usually by like his big attack standing under him and thinking I will be safe there because it's like I'm behind the head, so I won't get hit, but I get still hit by the explosion. That is the most cards on him, I think.
Yeah, I think with his biggest explosion, like he does a few different ones, but with his biggest, you actually need to stand behind his legs to not be hit. Because he like moves a little bit backwards, and the explosion happens right around his face as well.
Yeah, and even if it's behind you, if like you when you're blocking to the front of you, like that will hit you.
I have a lot to say about Rey Dau. Honestly, it's just such a good monster. It's I love his. I love when he gets into the air and then he does this big slam that you definitely need to dodge. That is also probably one of my favorite attacks from him. Also, his interactions with other monsters are so good.
Yeah, he's just blasting everything that's inside.
Like I was just hunting a Doshagauma and he just came in and blasted the Doshagauma and took a bunch of health away.
Yeah.
It's such a good intricate monster. Also, I want to highlight the colors. Like when he gets out of the thunderstorm and into the plenty, like his colors start popping like a lot, and it looks super. It's such a good monster. Design wise, probably one of my favorites so far. Probably in the entire game that we've seen.
I think the other thought that I have on him is like when he does his like wing attack, right? When he's like sideways flying at you and attacking you with the wing, like that makes no sense. Like physically, I think like he would just fall over and getting not enough lift. But what I really like is when he does like his two small lightning attacks. He does like the first one, and then for the second one, he just like kind of turns his head and fires the second one, like he doesn't really care. And I like that very much.
Yeah, it's so cute. Like when he does like a little turn of his head and fires the second one. But yeah, his wing attack is the one where he does his flies up and does his wing on the ground. That actually is extremely bugged in the demo, because sometimes you could just be miles away and he would hit you anyway. He would just teleport towards you. That doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, this will probably get improved on. There's like a few times where he like kind of bugged out as just standing around, or, like flying against walls for quite a bit. But I guess this will be improved.
He has tons of slapstick potential as well.
Yeah.
Where at one point we were fighting him on top of the mountain, and one of the parts of the mountain started crumbling, and he was trying to fly away, and then he just fell down because the mountain started crumbling, and it was he had such a weird animation doing it. It was pretty funny. Obviously, we need to mention the one video where he just is upside down and flies up.
But yeah, you said you've killed it with every weapon. Which one was easiest? Which one was hardest?
Easiest is hammer. Hammer is easiest for me. Definitely easiest, because you just go for the head at all times. You don't have to worry about anything else. You just stand in front of him. You just hammer him in the head. He falls over. Then you hammer some more, and then you don't have to do much, honestly. Although probably like something like Longsword is probably easier because you have so many counters.
But it's Longsword.
but I suck at Longsword, so I didn't really do a lot of the things that you need to do. So yeah, probably Hammer. Hammer is... Well, we're not going to talk about the weapons right now, right? Or should we?
I felt like we could segue to this.
Okay, let's segue really quick to the main weapons that we used.
Yeah.
I don't know, do you want to start or should I?
Sure. So I came into this bit. I really wanted, or into this game. I really want to beat this game where I learn and get good with Hunting Horn. And so this is what I primarily played, and I'm really happy with this. They for one, like they made the recital like actually a good attack that you want to use, and then with these little like performance beats, I think, where you can like do a little attack between every song, and then all of these will also then go into the echo bubbles that you put around. Well, I feel like a really integral part of the weapon, because you create these bubbles. They give you and other hunters an effect when they walk through it. But also when you play a song next to them, they do a little explosion that does damage. And all of these things go really well into each other. It's like kind of like World Hunting Horn, but improved. But like World Hunting Horn for me had the problem that like the best thing to do at some point was just to do the spin attack every time. And we have a bit of similar problem here, because you do the echo waves, and then you want to do I don't know the name of the song, but the song where you do a little sound effect and then that also does damage. And you want to ideally play all of them all the time because they interact favorably with the echo bubbles. But the fact that that you have to be close to these bubbles, use them, not reposition them, but make new ones to create like these extra damage zones. Really is engaging, even if you are playing a lot of the same songs, playing similar songs a lot of the time. But I see a lot of potential with this, and also Hunting Horn's probably one of the weapons that will have the most variety because you have the like general like affinity raw element stats. Then the songs will have different skills. The songs will have different melodies, of course. They will have different special melodies, which can be the offset melody, which is the counter, or they can be something else that we don't know yet. And so there will be a lot of variety in what kind of horns you want to use. So it's one of the weapons that I could see that you want to use two different ones even. And apparently, according to K-Plays here, they nerfed the attack up song so that they are flat bonus and not percentage-wise, and so you're not as bound to having to have these and nothing else. So overall, that went really well. Yeah, and I've talked a lot. So did you do any hunting horn, and what other weapon do you want to talk about?
I didn't do much hunting horn. I hunted a Rey Dau with it, but that was with another player, and I don't know how much actual damage I did. I did a bunch of the echo bubbles. It was a pretty fun weapon, but it's definitely not going to be my main pick. I don't fuck with hunting horn a lot, honestly. It always feels a little bit like a slower hammer to me, and I just prefer hammer to it. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Maybe the only thing that I didn't really like the big saxophone is like fun when you see it the first time, but it's not really that cool at the end. So I was getting a bit tired of that look.
To me, it doesn't feel as good as hammer when you're bonking something with a weapon, as opposed to with a big hammer. But yeah, I main Switchaxe and I will main Switchaxe. I can just say that. It's my favorite weapon since Generation 3, and for a reason. It feels a little bit underpowered in this demo, I have to say. Especially if you compare it to Charge Blade got a huge buff in this one, and it's simply just overpowered. The Switchaxe lost a bunch of stuff, like the zero-sum discharge that actually sticks to the monster, which I actually like that it doesn't have it anymore. Like,
But you have that. I did it.
You did it?
Yeah, I did it. You just like the things you need to hold. Like you press both buttons and then you hold them. Then you switch on and then you start button mashing. It's really weird, but it's still there.
That is really weird in controls. I did never do that. I actually like it that you don't have to use it anymore at all times. Like, it's not even available anymore at all times because it makes you position better. It makes you and the sticking to the monster was always a double-edged sword every time, and it just wasn't worth it most of the time. I like the new focus strikes, all of that. It is a little bit weak because it doesn't get a huge upgrade with the focus strike. The counter is something that people have claimed is overpowered, but it's just so weak compared to every other counter in the game. I have no idea why people claim it is as good when it's literally just it doesn't even counter. It has hyper armor on it. Like, if you counter one of Rey Dau's attacks, half of your health is away anyway. You can't even do a follow-up on that. You just have to go and heal. Like, it feels super weak, in my opinion. I think damage-wise, we're doing good. The focus strike finishers and the offset attacks and everything looks super cool. I like the feel of the new weapon. It's just the thing is, I like the feel of the weapon. It just needs a damage buff. Like, just give it a damage buff and we're fine. You know?
How did you like the thing that I like the most is that the overhead slam on the X mode, that they brought that over from Rise, because that was one of my favorite moves, like that in Soaring Wyvern, and how they integrated that like on the draw attack and then on the on circle, right? When you like circle and forward, you also do it. I really like that because that is like such an X move that the weapon never had.
Yeah, it definitely didn't have it back in the day, but ever since Rise, they implemented it into this Switchaxe, and it works so well for Switchaxe. Like, I think it's a better opener. At least it feels better than the regular X move that I had in World. Like, on it. It's just so much better, and I like that they added both. If you want a quick opening move, you can. I played on a PlayStation controller, so it was triangle, and if you want a big chunk of damage overhead. Also, I like that Axe mode is actually a lot more important. You drain sword modes really fast. It's so fast drain, and you have a lot of emphasis on Axe mode. But yeah, the one thing I would change about it, if at all, is a damage buff. That's it. Just buff the numbers a bit up, and we're basically where the other weapons are. The weapon feels great, honestly. I enjoyed it a lot. But yeah, that is Switchaxe, I think. I don't have anything more to say on Switchaxe, just it feels good to play. It's probably a little bit worse than Rise Switchaxe for me.
Yeah, but Rise Switchaxe was the best. I feel like better than Sunbreak even, because I also I don't I guess on a philosophical level don't really drive with the Switchaxe as a counter weapon. But we will see how that plays out. Like, it looks really cool. It looks way cooler than it did in Rise, especially with the follow up. But I never really got to pull that off. Like, it's something that I would need to train on a training dummy, really, because either the monsters attack enough, but they hit hard, so you get punished while you're learning it, or they don't attack enough, like a Chatacabra, and then you just don't really get to learn it. So having the training dummy for that would be really great.
Yeah, I don't know. The counter feels super weak compared to Sunbreak, and it's probably by design. But I would love, a little bit of the Sunbreak counter back. Like, just give it a damage reduction, like a big damage reduction, or don't even take damage at all. I think Switchaxe is a weapon that actually is good on a counter, because when I was playing it in World, I always felt like the monsters were way faster than me, and a counter would have been really solid there. But with this speed up, it's actually not that good as a counter weapon anymore. The Sunbreak version feels just, to me, right, because it focuses so much on switching between axe and sword mode. And that is one of the main things that I took away from this demo, that this isn't the Switchaxe from Sunbreak. It doesn't focus a lot on switching anymore.
Yeah, but I think it's still an improvement from World and Iceborne.
It's a definitely improvement from World.
At least in moveset, if not in numbers.
Like, World Switchaxe was only busted because of the zero-sum discharge you can do and the temporal mantle. That was the only reason it was busted. Didn't have anything to do with Switchaxe, really. Yeah,
but I guess for switching to the next thing, what really surprised me in this was heavy Bowgun, which I always wanted to like, just from an idea, like being like this kind of a tank, like a military tank, not an MMO tank, with the giant gun and a shield, and they really pulled that off, and they made, from what I've heard from people who actually know and weapons like the gun that we have, and this is really bad, firing, piercing and spread on this field, very, very bad. The thing is that firing normal, Dev normal too, felt really good with getting these 3 shots that I didn't mind that much. And then you get your big machine gun mode a lot faster back, and putting it on the weapon also is way faster than doing the change like it is in World. So I really enjoyed that for some reason. That felt really good, and as a pairing that with Hunting Horn gives you a very different kind of feel. What I don't like is that apparently you can just shoot every ammo, or like maybe not Wyvern, but most ammo from Sacred as well. So it's not just a standard like you shoot something as a because it's weaker, but you can't shoot like status ammo, slicing, and stickies from the Bowgun on the Sacred, and that feels ripe for abuse if you have a weapon that is like really good with these shots. So we will see. But also giving you unlimited ammo on like normal piercing and spread felt really good, so you don't have to worry about this. And then also not having just having one set level for your shots also is good, because you have this like, okay, I have piercing 2 and piercing 3, which one do I want to use? I know I should only use this once, but maybe in this situation I use a different one. Always felt weird. So just having, okay, I have my piercing on this level and this is the level for the gun is a nice change, I think. And from what they said, it might be that there's still like a mod system, so you can a bit fiddle with these numbers a bit. And I'm not sure if even like deviation and like recoil and those things are really that big of a thing, but we will see how that interacts with the mod system and with like the bigger selection of weapons when we have the full game.
Yeah, heavy bowgun is definitely a weapon I want to wait for the full game, because it definitely felt way greater than light bowgun for me. Definitely, I like the focus strike a lot, where you have to actually aim, and all about it just felt honestly pretty good. I didn't play it as much because I'm not a huge gunner, but yeah, that's all I can say to the weapon.
Yeah, I also like having the manual guard as a thing that you, when you know you're gonna get hit and you want to, because I think you get better guard, I think, when you do the manual guard, and then ideally more chance at getting the clash. So doing that like against the Doshagauma, when you know like, okay, it's gonna attack me right now, also felt better than I expected. I thought it was something you would never do, but yeah, I used this like more than I thought I would.
Yeah, definitely. I hunted a Rey Dau with it, and it felt really good to just dodge everything, attack it. The gunners always feel relatively solid, and we just have to wait also they rely heavily on armor skills and weapons, so we don't know yet their full potential at this point. I want to get into my secondary weapon, which we have to get a little bit negative. But yeah, my secondary weapon is Gunlance, which we will get into. But I choose to talk about the Insect Glaive, which for me is for me personally, I have seen people liking it and say it's a return to form for you Insect Glaive, which might be true, but this is not for you we're playing. This is Wilds we're playing, and I think they removed from Insect Glaive one of the biggest things that made it great in 5th gen, which is the ability to have aerial combat. We don't have any other aerial weapon in the game at all, and Insect Glaive had so much potential. They could have just, made it a bit better, but aerial combat in this game feels so underwhelming. It's not even just for me that they removed the bounce. That's not just it, but even the dodge feels like it doesn't reach the distance that it did in the past. It's a weird one, where also the new move is absolutely busted, and you're just spamming that one all over and over again. You don't do anything else, literally. Yeah. Like, it's a weird dichotomy for the weapon where you have to get all of the extracts to perform most of your tasks with the weapon, because they removed it so that red doesn't give you all of the tasks anymore. So you have to refill it, but refilling everything is also way easier than before. So it's kind of a no-brainer. So you don't even have to manage that anymore for me. Like, that's not even a thing anymore. And then you get that super move that removes all of your extract. Yeah, it does, but getting it back is super easy. And you're basically at the end of the day just spamming it all of the time if you can. And they've kind of removed a interesting playstyle that could have been buffed. Like, I've seen people talk like aerial playstyle was always never that good and it never did as much damage. Yeah, but you could also make it more interesting and buff it instead of removing it completely. Also, I don't see much reason to pole vault except the huge spike going down attack thing. Even repositioning doesn't feel as good because you're better off just dodging 1 or 2 times. I don't know, they kind of removed a lot from Insect Glaive. Also, the mounts in the game. we can talk about the mounting system in the game a little bit because it feels a little bit weirder to me.
Yeah. On the negative side, like you have like 3 things you can do now, and I don't really know like what I should do. I just did like the weak knife attack and try to get like as many wounds as possible, and then do the ending thing. But yeah, it felt weird. But what I like is that how seamless it is. You just attack it and you are on the monster suddenly, and it starts. Where in like I guess in 4th gen you had like this whole thing, and now you have to do the mini game. And in Windward there was still like this moment between like hitting the attack and then had like a camera reset, and then you are on the monster. Like it's so fast and seamless now, and I really like that part.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely feel like the mounting system is not that hard for me, at least. Because once I realized that I can't just spam R1 and do my weapon attack at all times to open the wound and then use R1 to do the finisher, stamina management didn't really become an issue at all in this. I don't know if you felt like that, but at one point I was just getting every mount off pretty easily by just spamming R1 and doing my weapon attacks. And that might change with the future monsters, but it didn't feel as clear to me what you were supposed to be doing during a mount.
Yeah, that was the one thing where like a tutorial, like you have these 3 options, use A for this, use B for this, use C for this. That would have been helpful, because like learning it just from doing it was really difficult for me. But yeah, and I think I failed like 1 or 2 mounts, especially in the beginning, but I was still like confused about like what button does what now.
Yeah, I was trying to do the knife attacks at all times, like just knifing the monster until it falls down, like in the past. But this didn't happen ever, like at all. So I didn't really know what to do. Like, I think in World at least they highlight the buttons you're supposed to press on the top. They didn't really do that with this one. Also didn't help that I turned the button prompts off at one point.
But they can work on this. Like I like the general idea. I don't really like how it like goes that much into the wound system, and like I think what you're supposed to do is try to get as many wounds like on the back of the monster as you can. At least like some of the new finishers are really cool.
Yeah, the finishers are pretty cool.
Like Longsword, Bow, Insect Glaive.
Yeah, they are pretty cool. I like them a lot. But yeah, that's my thoughts on Insect Glaive. For me, it's a straight downgrade, and it's not a weapon I'm going to play. So,
yeah.
Get out of here, Insect Glaive mains. Have your fun, you know.
Then maybe we should both, I guess, talk about Gunlance, because that was the weapon that really surprised me as well. I am probably now like primarily a Lance main, and just to be really quick with this, like Lance in Sunbreak in Wilds is really good. It's different. It like needs a lot of new muscle memory, but like all of the things I think are fine. And like they like gave us new options that changed a lot of things, so that's great. But Gunlance got like for me at least, like such an upgrade with the like new combos that you have with the like new sweeps and stuff. So that was for me very a lot of fun, like doing the like moving while shelling and then comboing into the next thing and into the next thing. I really like that. And then yeah, I think will be Like if hunting horn doesn't really work out for me, I will go and try to play a lot more Gunlance, and I didn't think that would happen. And I'm really glad I tried it and not just like say, yeah, no, there's not enough time to learn like all of the new stuff, but just try to do it, like watch a bit of the Huracan video and then went into it, and I kind of fell in love with how fluid it is suddenly. It's like not something that the weapon ever was.
Yeah, that is literally the same for me as well. Gunlance feels so great in this game. It's so mobile as well, which I didn't expect, honestly. Like the new animations in between that you can do, where you hop different sides and walk different sides during, is like so good for his repositioning, and it just feels so great to just blast away a monster with Gunlance. I didn't expect it to feel that good, and it's probably one of my favorite weapons from the demo. And it's going to be my secondary for a reason. I always enjoyed Gunlance in the past, but in this game it's definitely my secondary. And we didn't even get artillery.
Yeah, and then now it's scaled with raw, and shelling doesn't really use sharpness anymore. Like there's a lot of nice things, but also like there's this one combo pathway just like move to do like a moving shelling and then go into the sweep and then into like sweeping full burst and then the second stake. Like as people notice, I'm not really that up to date with Gunlance, but like just doing like 1 or 2 shellings before that to get into position. Before that, if you would do like, I don't feel people would feel punished if you want to do a full burst but you don't have all your ammo. That would feel like a waste. I don't know if you can agree with that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and now like if you are deeper into the weapon, probably still, but because you get into you do like the full quick reload before the second like big sweep attack, you don't feel as punished for doing that. It's really weird. It feels liberating. In a way, like you can just combo in different ways, and you will be rewarded like at the end.
Yeah, Gunlance always felt good, honestly, in every game that I've played so far. But this iteration is just also the way it's so technical as well. Like you need to press the right buttons to get everything off. Is unlike any other weapon, honestly. Because for Switchaxe, I don't need to think a lot about the weapons, about the buttons I'm pressing. But it always feels like for Gunlance, I need to have a quick think about what I'm going to do next and which weapon combination I need to press. And that's felt almost that way since World. But this actually pushed it a little bit further. It's such a technical weapon.
But I don't feel like it's like punishing you for getting it wrong, if that makes sense. Like there's better things that you could do, but it's not like it gives you like, oh, you did it wrong, like now you get hit with stuff or something.
Yeah, they did something unique here where just you have tons of options and none of them is really wrong, but you just have to pick one, and you blast away the monster and it works usually. Most options work,
And then this is maybe also a good moment to get into the perfect guard mechanic, which I really like in this, because before like we also had that in Generations Ultimate with the adept block, and in especially in Rise with Lance instant block, and I never was good with that. Just like I want to block more proactively. And then if you get the instant block wrong, like you get punished because either you get hit or you get a way weaker block. And here, like, it's pure upside. You can do it, and like your block is better, but if you don't hit it correctly, you're still blocking. It's not taking anything away from you from getting it wrong, and that also feels very liberating. And it's more encouraging for you to try to get it right. And not like, oh, you did it wrong and you get hit in the face. But it's like, oh, you did it right, have a cookie.
Yeah, that's true. I also like the emphasis they have on instant blocking and on perfect dodging on other weapons. Just if you're doing it good, you get rewarded for it. It's just really good in the game. Like that always feels good,
Yep.
But yeah, I think that was everything on Gunlance, right?
Yeah, like this is the whole, like even like the way to charge shells is super cool. It's like not really useful like on normal, but it's really cool as an idea and will probably play out great on wide. And yeah, so this just feels like there will be even more fun to have with the different shelling styles.
Oh yeah, definitely. One thing I hope that they add for Gunlance, honestly, always in every game is elemental shelling. That is definitely something I want, and I want shelling to scale a little bit more with the weapon, but so that it doesn't become useless by the end of the game. And I really hope they do that for Gunlance this time. But we haven't seen anything about it because obviously we're just in raw right now.
Yeah, there's the only thing is that there's like a shelling type and then there's like a shelling strength, which is the shelling type and then like there's like a different thing and then like both just say normal on this, so there is a possibility that there either could be this Gunlance also like the shells always scale with raw, but it might be that there's some Gunlances that scale better or worse for scaling or that do elemental damage. But I'm still not sure if like elemental shelling as an idea like really works that well. But I'm ready to be surprised on that.
I mean, it could if they just give like the regular explosions and make them explosions with like lightning effect or whatever on it. It could actually work, but I highly doubt they'll do it. Shelling type is usually long, wide, and
yeah, just like or why I think like it might be weird is that like normally they do like fixed damage no matter where you're hitting. But if this suddenly changes to okay, this is not fixed damage, but that is like elemental damage, that is like still in a way fixed, but when it is when it interacts with the elemental hit zones on a monster, right? And then suddenly it becomes really important on a Gunlance where you shell, and it's not like I can shell wherever. And so that would be a really big change, I think. That people don't seem to
yeah, we definitely will have to see what they're doing with Gunlance, but so far the weapon feels great. I'm missing a bit the blast dash, but we'll get over this. For repositioning, I always feel like, oh, blast dash would be nice right now, but yeah, we won't get it back probably, but that's okay. The game feels great with the Gunlance as it is.
Like it changed me from wanting to do it with Lance to have Gunlance on that. So it was a really big compliment because I didn't really like the weapon much before, and I've tried like multiple times.
Yeah, Lance for me feels a bit different, and I couldn't really get into it. I probably have to try it a bit more.
And do we want to talk a bit about Longsword?
Do we need to?
Yeah, I guess quickly, like it got too much. It's like overtuned, but I enjoyed it a lot. It's like sometimes it's fun to just be overpowered, and having like an easy weapon or easier seeming weapon also for beginners is fine. And some of the changes even aren't that much about making it easier, like having a different combo on when you have red spirit gauge for one on your triangle attack, and also having like a different combo on the ending on the spirit combo. Like those are just cool things. And then having the option to do your spirit combo not with like multiple attacks, but like hold your weapon, which makes you then like move very slowly and then go into the spirit round slash. I enjoyed that a lot as well. There's like the follow-up to the Helmbreaker is completely unnecessary, but it's extremely cool and it's extremely fun to use. So I hope that maybe they like turn it down a bit more, but like it's fun, and I feel like this is will be a sometimes tree that I will use. Just to do something different and to have a bit of more mindless fun, and I think that is okay to have.
I honestly, the thing that I have to say about Longsword is I honestly don't care about how busted it is, because at the end of the day, For me, it feels like the developers also think this way, is that Longsword is a power fantasy for people, and if they want to have it, they can have it. That's just it. At the end of the day, I definitely think the devs just think Longsword is the ultimate power fantasy for people, and if you want to have it, there it is, you know? And I think also Longsword users think that way.
Yeah, I mean, just look at the mounted finisher. Like, it's so cool.
The only people I've seen complain about it is non-Longsword users. I think all Longsword users said, yeah, this feels great. And if they like Monster Hunter that way, then that's okay. But yeah, my last weapon would be honestly Sword and Shield, but I think we have a little bit of time for that, right?
I have nothing on this. I tried it for like 2 minutes and then decided, not in this limited demo time.
Sword and Shield in this game feels actually super great in my opinion. It's one of my favorites. It's going to be my third weapon that I'm going to try to use from time to time. It's just that they made everything so seamless with this. Like it's quick, but it also lets you walk actually. With your normal combo, it actually lets you walk during that. Like you just slash in the monster and yet you just casually walk around while slashing into the monster. It's actually really cool. They brought back the finisher from Rise for the perfect combo, the perfect rush combo, which is actually really cool. Like the one where you like in the last hit, you jump up and then you slam down with your shield. And that is super cool that they brought it back. The new triangle and circle attack, like if you use it, is actually really cool because it opens wounds relatively easy. So
yeah, it looks really satisfying and meaty.
Yeah, it's a really satisfying weapon, and I didn't think it would be, honestly. I'm always a little bit on the fence about Sword and Shield usually because I don't like the perfect rush combo. Probably the only one that doesn't like it, but this feels actually really substantial, honestly.
Yeah. How is the I just saw it in the showcase. There's you get like the slide and attack move that like Charge Blade also has, right? How is that? Because I felt that one I would really like because Sword and Shield could use like another gap closer.
I have actually not used that at all. So maybe I didn't use it to its full potential, but it wasn't really in the moveset, I think, that much.
Yeah, or maybe how you get to it is like still weird. Like I just felt like if you for the limited amount of Sword and Shield that I played, like I like to go for the head bashes with the shield. And then like when you get this and you get like the monster reeling back, then like sliding after it and then starting your normal combo felt like a really good thing to do, that the weapon was kind of missing. And so I was wondering.
Yeah, I'll have to get back into the demo if I can, but I'd have to try it out, but sadly I can't, so we'll have to postpone the Sword and Shield discussion a bit, but it's definitely one of the weapons that feels great. And we're just having a regular Sword and Shield, like a raw Sword and Shield, and usually Sword and Shield and dual blades do better with elemental, so we'll have to check out what the elemental ones look like. I definitely feel like it was in the perfect sweet spot for me. Sword and Shield is always like the middle ground type of weapon where it isn't as crazy as dual blades and it's still fast, but it still works in regular combat like a normal weapon. It's the most inoffensive weapon you can have.
As I like to call it, it's boring and basic and it has no reach.
You could call it that, but then you disregard Frontier because in Frontier it actually has reach and is super quick and super busted.
Yeah, but so that is Frontier, so that's everything.
I've played it in Frontier, and once you get the cool sword from Ruko Diora that is like Dragon Element and Paralysis at the same time, then it's absolutely busted because it's Element and Paralysis, and all monsters just are paralyzed all the time.
Yeah. And the weapon have actually different reach. I just remembered now. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's it. That is on the demo. I'm glad it came here. Like it came so quickly. I'm sad that it's gone. Probably get another one on after the Game Awards, probably, or like over Christmas, over the New Year. Hopefully they put in like maybe 1 or 2 returning monsters just to get a feeling for that. That would be great. Even if it's just like Rathian or Rathalos. Like having a Rathian to learn monsters would be incredible. To learn weapon moveset.
I definitely want to see Rathian back.
But yeah, I think like the best part was just seeing how everyone on social media like posting what they found, like posting like weird characters that they created and all of that. Which is that was just so much fun to see the whole community like having this event.
Yeah, there was so much going on in the community at that time, and it always feels great to have that, you know? The Monster Hunter community likes arguing over trivial things, but every time a Monster Hunter release, they actually post cool stuff all the time.
Yeah.
And I really feel that is always a coming together moment for all of us.
Again, and I want to thank you for having me.
Well, thank you for being here. You can quickly say where people can find you. So
yeah, mostly found me on Twitter at Palamutes, like from Rise. And yeah, always happy to talk on this. Always happy to talk Monster Hunter. And I guess Final Fantasy 14 if you want to talk about that, or anything else I'm playing right now. Now it's mostly just those 2 things. Potionomics, I guess, if you want to talk about me why Marktech is great, we can also do that.
Okay. You can find me on Try Lightning as usual on this channel. If I post this on this channel, I definitely probably right. You can follow me on Twitter and Blue Sky. I have a Blue Sky account, so that is a really good way to follow me because Blue Sky actually shows your followers if you go live.
Ooh.
That is actually a really good option. And you can join my Discord. I put all of the links in the description as usual. And please comment, give us your impressions, and subscribe and like, obviously. And I will see all of you next time. Try Lightning out.
Bye.